Homeowners, do not fall for the okie doke. Let's get into it. All right, guys, this is Emmett Stallworth again. This is the Alpha Builder. Guys, this right here video here was inspired by, here we go, by another job that I lost to another builder. Now, typically I don't do a lot of remodels, but I got one of my guys, one of the guys that's been helping me out now. Shout out to Clay. He's been helping me out. He's pretty good at remodels. So we're starting a quote remodel job. So we did this one particular remodel job, and I quoted it, and I think might have been about $15,000 off. Well, yes, I was. Matter of fact, I got some inside. I always get inside information when I don't get a job. Somebody tell me why this thing didn't happen. So I got insider information on this right here. But guys, this job right here, I was about $15,000 off. So let's just say the job was $100,000. And this was an addition / remodel. And let's just say this job right here, let's say it was a $100,000 job, and I was at 100,000, which means that the homeowner was probably around 85,000 is where they kind of was. This is what they wanted to spend. Well, what ended up happening was, and this is where we were, guys. I sat there and meticulously went through everything, went through the administrative stuff, like the pulling the permits, each one of the subcontractors, the HVAC, the electrical and plumbing, some of that stuff, like even electrical stuff, things like that. You have to calculate all that stuff in there. So I put everything in. And guys, when I do my quote, I don't just do a square footage. I look at the job, I see what's involved and what needs to be done, and I do line item per line item. Now, some of the line items, when I estimate it, or when I quote it, say for instance on floors, I may do the floor part, and within that particular line item, because the line item also have subcategories, I do those maybe square footage. But in this particular case, guys, I think I was right on the money. I was where I need to be at. And then I put the profit in there. Profit is really to handle my overhead. But guys, when you got a builder like myself, which is like a 1, 2, 3 man show, got a couple of guys that's helping me out. But, we don't have a whole lot of overhead because we don't have a whole lot of office staff, stuff like that. We may have software, like software, insurance and things like that. Gas and things like that, but it's nowhere near to like a bigger home builder. But I didn't get the job, guys. It's like, man, so I got to always figure out why I didn't get the job because it helps me moving forward. But what ended up happening, homeowners, I want you guys to understand this right here. What ended up happening was another builder came in. And if the homeowner said they was at 85,000, this is kind of where we at. That builder said, I'll do it for that. That should be red flag number one. If you tell a builder what you can do it for, if you the homeowner and you tell a builder, hey, this is where I am, this is how much I have to spend, and that builder looks at it and says, the builder don't go back and do, he just say, I can do it for that amount. That should be red flag number one, okay? So what ended up happening was, so builder gets the job, gets to working on the job. Well, come to find out, there was some engineering involved in this right here, which I put it in my quote, but there's some engineering involved in this right here job. So kind of find out he didn't pull a permit. So he was out there working without a permit. So what he was going to try to do is he was going to try to do the job his way without having the municipality coming in checking to make sure things were done. Because a lot of things like electrical, man, if you touch electrical, you got to bring that stuff up to code. Whatever you touch and on a renovation or remodels, if you touch it, you got to bring it up to code. You got to bring it up to the current code. Now, that don't mean you got to change out the whole electrical panel, but if you changing this room out, the wires got to be upgraded, etc. So once he got into the job, guys, by him having to do those things and get an engineer and things like that, things I've already calculated in there, it ended up being a little bit more than even what I quoted. So his probably ended up being about if I was at 100,000, this guy might have been at 110,000. And he put that on the homeowner. The problem is he's too deep into the job now. He's too deep into the job now for some other builder to come in. The homeowner would have just let him go ahead and just say, hey, look, I don't want to deal with this right here. And then just bring me back on board. But no, he's too deep now. He done tore walls out and stuff like that. He got to finish it now. So he got to go get permits and stuff like that. But guys, red flag number one, when those builders say, well, I could just do it for that. That's red flag number one. Red flag number two is if they're out here building, the first thing you homeowners should hold that builder accountable for, well, the first thing is you need to look at his home builder's license. And guys, you can actually, think we got it now. I mean, if you got Apple, I think they got it now where your home builder's license is, like in Alabama, we have our home builder's license. I'm trying to see that. It's on our phone. You can put it on your Apple card or whatever. That's the first thing the homeowner should ask for, is home builder's license. And then the second thing, you need to make sure that guy go out there and pull a permit. And that permit should be hung, or it should be presented where you can see it from the road. The weather card, not the permit. They need a permit, but then they have to have a weather card that usually go in the window. Or you can call the building official. You can call the local municipality and say, well, hey, did this guy pull a permit? If those builders didn't do anything, I would fire them immediately. Because they already started. Now, and here's another thing, guys. If that builder comes to you and say, hey, look, I can save you money if we don't have to pull permits. I've seen guys do that. And they'll tell the homeowner, hey, if I can do this without going through the building official or going through the inspection department, and I can save you $5,000-$6,000, cut that guy loose. Because you're already starting the job off in deceit. You're starting out with a deceitful mindset. And if they would do that to those guys, to the local municipality, because now they don't, not only do they not have a building permit, they don't have a business license to engage in contract in that local, in that municipality. Chop them loose, guys. Cut those guys loose. This is where, I tell you, man, we got a lot of these guys out here floating around and they taking these jobs. And the reason that we have home builders license here in the state of Alabama, I don't know, I think most states are going to be very similar to what we have here. But the reason you want to make sure these guys have a home builder's license is because there has to be something that holds those guys accountable. And that license, see, the home builder licensing board can push and they can do their thing to that builder. They have consequences that they can initiate that on that builder if he's not building things according to the code and doing what he's supposed to be doing. They can hold him accountable and they can initiate consequences on them, like fine them, things like that. And the homeowner will have remedy. In Alabama we have what they call a slush fund. So if you sue a builder who have a license and you get a judgment on that builder, you can actually go in and that builder don't pay you on that judgment. You try to garnish wages or whatever you try to do, and you just couldn't get paid. They have a slush fund, but the slush fund is probably like $20,000. You know, if you get a $100,000 job, you still kind of messed up. But guys, homeowners, you got to hold these guys accountable. The problem, and then here's another thing: make sure they have their insurances. General liability insurance. Now, in Alabama, if you got less than 5 employees, you don't need workman's comp. But you need to have general liability insurance. So you got to hold these guys accountable, guys. The days of, and guys, look at here. All these things you can do at your fingertips. You can get on the computer and you can just type it in and you can figure out everything you want to about these builders. If they're jackleg, you know, they got the Better Business Bureau and things like that. You know, go on there and figure that stuff out before you hire these guys. This job end up costing when they get done, it's gonna cost them more than what I quoted them. Because now they gotta undo things. See, every time you gotta undo things, costs you more. Cost you much more. And this is and guys, this is one reason that I started doing YouTube videos, because I was losing jobs. The guys who didn't have home builders license, they were just taking money away from homeowners and stuff. I had to end up finishing the job, and I was the one that got paid because these guys went out there and messed up. And I had friends of mine, you know, that they bit off the fact that this guy was lower, you know. So keep that in mind, guys. And if you're getting something from these videos, please like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Appreciate you guys for dropping in on the channel. All right, guys. At the end of the day, it is what it is. You guys have a good one.